Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm on my third cup of coffee this morning. The kids just went off to school, and I'm ready to go. And I'll bet you I've got 30 tabs opened up across my screen right now because there's that much news out there that's good for digital assets and XRP and other digital assets. So let's get it going. This is first one's from WebSurfology, at WebSurfology. Give him a follow. And that is this. I'm going to delete these as I go so this computer doesn't slow down. This is from Dan Rocky, is what WebSurfer sent me. Hi, CZ Bonnets. Now that you are delisting Bitcoin SV, isn't it time you add some more quality and make more base pairing with XRP as the quote currency? It's been more than 3 months with only TRX and XZC. We are many people looking forward to this. And I have looked at those pairs myself, and I've been in there and thought the same thing. So let's give a shout out to CZ Binance, who is a friend to the XRP community, and see if he can help us get some more XRP pairs. It's time, man. You've helped us out so far. Let's keep it going, get some more pairs going. All right, next, this is from Sergeant Obi-Wan. Crypto is coming to cinema with this Hollywood movie. Who's going to see this movie could be good and bad for adoption. I don't like what they've done here with this first movie. The only thing I like about it is that Kurt Russell's in it, which makes it pretty mainstream. But I don't like what they've done is they've made this movie be about crypto and everything and things having to do with money laundering. And that, I think, is a horrible way to present crypto to Hollywood and to the viewing public. And so I'm not a big fan on this. I may not even watch it for that reason, but it comes out, I believe, Friday is what I read. And so it is important for adoption, but I hate that they're going to put things out there the way that they're putting them out there when they could do this in a much different way. But hopefully this will go, you know what they say about advertising, there is no bad advertising as long as it's advertising. I hope that's true in this case. Okay, next, I got this from Mark Clayton at LIVV Brand, and he sent me this. He was at a Houston Rockets playoff game. Watch this. This is a I don't know what you would call it, but it's an advertisement, a moving advertisement. It's got Bitcoin Cash on one side, and then it's got Ant Pool, which is features a Bitcoin Cash, some kind of mining pool advertisement. But he found this at the Houston Rockets game, playoff game. You asked for adoption, you got adoption, folks. It's going to be wrapped everywhere you look is going to be digital assets in the next year or two. Okay, next, Notorious XRP. Yesterday I sent you out this hilarious video of this kid, and he's watching the trailer for the final Star Wars movie, I believe. And the kid is, at first you think that maybe he's just pretending, but after you watch him for long enough, the genuineness of how excited he is captivating. And so it's made for memes. And so I asked I wanted anyone in the XRP community to do a meme and add XRP into this, and it is good. Notorious XRP did a great job. At Notorious XRP, give him a follow, and he's also got a YouTube channel. Go subscribe, Notorious XRP. But he redid this, and you need to all go watch this. I thought it was funny. Okay, and anybody else who wants to do one of these, let me know about it, and I'll put yours on my video too, because I think it makes me laugh every time I see this guy and how excited he got over Star Wars. And I would love to see more things where it's things having to do with XRP. Let's see who can do the best one. A lot of talented people in the XRP community. And then Michael at VAL5Link says, DAI was right. The London Stock Exchange has issued its first ever shares in tokenized form on the platform. Equity in Financial Technology Company 2030 was issued using the blockchain technology. I think this article speaks for itself, so I'm not going further into it, but I like it. That's more adoption, folks. The tokenization of the world. Next, SEC forces ETFs to delete blockchain from their names. What this is about, folks, is it's the same thing that happened back in the .com times, and that was what companies would do is they would get articles written or put .com in their name. They would do anything to be affiliated with being a .com because it would drive the stock price up. And that's kind of what was going on this past year with a lot of companies, is there was some company that just put blockchain in their name and they really had nothing to do with it. So the SEC got onto this and realized these people were just trying to drive their stock prices up, and so they're cracking down on this, and that's what that's about. Okay. All right, moving along from @rcoat13 on eToro. 100% of people are opening buy positions on XRP. No one is selling. That's good stuff. I like it. Okay, next, from Mark Yusko. This is great. This guy puts out some good tweets. Just remember these words of wisdom from the depths of the .com crash and tech bear market. Almost every .com idea from 1999 that failed will succeed. That's Marc Andreessen, who was one of the founders of Netscape, who now is one of the partners at Andreessen Horowitz, which was a venture capital firm until recently, when they made all of their personnel financial advisors because of how huge digital assets is going to be. So, and he says same applies to blockchain and crypto today. But he's right. Any of these ideas that may have failed because their timing was wrong and they ran out of funds or something, and we had the bear market, a lot of those ideas will rise right back out of the ashes. And I'll give you an example of that. Webvan was one of the failures of the .com bubble. Well, you now see a lot of companies doing some variation of what Webvan's idea was, which was delivering groceries to your home. A different version of that I use here in my town is called Waiter. It's the Waiter app. And you can literally order food from anywhere, and they will get the food and bring it to you. You also have Uber Eats. And so, yes, those failed ideas that may not have been ready, at the time. Another good example that seemed like a success at the time, it was actually a failure, was broadcast.com. Mark Cuban, who was one of the greatest success stories out of the .com. I've told this story before on here. Mark Cuban created broadcast.com, and the idea was that you would broadcast sports events, and eventually he did modeling events and all sorts of events. And you would broadcast these over the internet, either the audio or the video, but the internet wasn't ready for it. We were in dial-up connections, and they couldn't hold, the connection couldn't stay, kept buffering, and you never could have a really good connection. Yahoo, because that was a .com, and it seemed like a cool idea, bought it for billions of dollars. Mark Cuban cashed out in style, and then broadcast.com was not even a thing within months. It literally didn't do anything on Yahoo. And they literally had nothing but the .com name at that point. And so it was way too early for its time. But it made it, Mark Cuban's timing was great in terms of selling it, but that was about it. The idea itself took until later when you had faster internet speeds and DSL, and then eventually now Wi-Fi and all this. Okay, so moving along. Frank Chaparro says, and this speaks for itself too, 9 in 10 endowment funds have made crypto-related investments, study finds. That's huge, folks. Adoption is here. Okay, and next, this is funny. You need to go read it if you haven't read it. This is, I guess, one of the guys that's being sued or being threatened. I think Craig Wright got his attorneys to send this guy a letter threatening him because he had said that Craig Wright was a fraud because he said he was Satoshi Nakamoto. And in his letter, it's hilarious. You need to go and read this letter. But in the letter, it's hilarious. It's basically saying, you're saying I made a false statement of fact, and so the burden of proof is going to be on you. You've got to prove that I'm wrong, and that Craig Wright actually is Satoshi Nakamoto. And so he's challenging the guy, which I think is hilarious. So you need to go read this. It's at Peter McCormack is where you can read that. And then C3 Nick is finished up with his survey. We have a clear winner. According to a non-biased survey, 93% think that show me the result is Satoshi Nakamoto. And here, this was his poll. Craig Wright was all three of the first three choices, and then show me the result was the last, which I thought was classic. Okay, after XRP security clearance, finance minister hints on Ripple's growth in Luxembourg. And I wanted to show you this because I've told you many times, this is the security issue with XRP is going to be taken care of by the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is adopting XRP, and the United States is not going to be left behind in that respect. They're just not going to do it. But even if they did do it, it wouldn't matter because the rest of the world is accepting XRP. It might make a price hit to XRP in the short run, but in the medium to long run, you've got right here. Here's one example. Luxembourg private equity says Ripple not a security token. LPEA says payment tokens have no specific issuer, therefore token holders have no right to claim against issuer of the token. They've classified XRP and Bitcoin in the payment token categories. Okay, and then look here. This came from XRP Trooper at Trooper XRP. Sent me this. This is from Ordinary Guy 010101 at Every Day on My Way. I like that. Cheers to top researchers. And he shows you this. This is from the European Parliament. Okay, back in 2018 July. Cryptocurrencies and blockchain. Legal context and implications for financial crime, money laundering, and tax evasion. And what they have here is that Ripple, they call it Ripple, they mean XRP, is decentralized. Look, Ripple is the only one in this entire list that has all the boxes checked. It's decentralized. It is decentralized, non-security. Initial offering by an identified person or entity, electronically traded, directly convertible into fiat currency, medium of exchange. All boxes are checked. So as you can see, the rest of the world is accepting XRP. Next, I want to show you this from Mr. B XRP at XRP Mister. This right here, folks, is more of a reason to buy XRP or to own XRP than any, because every digital asset on this list there's not one digital asset on this list that has accomplished even a tiny minuscule fraction of what Ripple has accomplished with XRP, and what other companies that are starting up with XRP use cases have accomplished, such as what Coil's doing with use case with XRP. Not even 1/10 of what has been accomplished for XRP with the different things going on has been accomplished by any of these. But look at the returns year to date. Look at the returns year to date. XRP is the only one of these that's in the negative. He says, for me, this speaks volumes. This race starts when Wall Street says it starts. And I think that he's right in a way. But I'll give a caveat there. XRP could take off at any second, and it does not depend on Wall Street. Remember, as I've said before, every bull run I've seen with XRP or any of these digital assets has happened when you least expect it, and not because of some certain piece of news. Sometimes it's always been in anticipation of things that are going to happen. An example of last year, this year, Ripple, XRP was added to Coinbase. It didn't go up but 5 or 10%. Last year, it was anticipated that Coinbase would list it, and it went up, I think, thousands of percent just on the anticipation. That's how XRP moves. It's not on something actually happening. It's on the anticipation of it happening. That's how markets often work. Okay, moving along. From Sergeant Obi-Wan, why crypto is booming in the Philippines. And I wanted to briefly show you this. Here's an example for the United States. Why crypto is booming in the Philippines. The Philippines is having a moment with cryptocurrency, which largely can be attributed to the country's own political leadership. And here's the reasons. First, Bitcoin trading volumes have increased. Crypto fits in with the government's fintech scheme. They're providing a solid regulatory framework for cryptocurrency, and it seems to be a key for Filipino government as a part of its larger plan to modernize the nation's digital payment systems. So their government is on board and getting things done. The number of regulated exchanges is growing, and it's growing because the government is doing their job and staying ahead of things. Let that be a lesson to the United States. And next, from Web Surfer, Bitcoin Superstore launches new proof of services that allows cryptocurrency enthusiasts to book travel, order groceries, and buy goods on over 200,000 stores across the globe with BTC, XRP, and Ethereum. Nice. And next, I wanted to show you this. I got this from XRP Dominus to the sky at Matt Marley 52200. This is cool. Vechain partners with HBO, Adidas, and SBTG. This is interesting, folks. As you may, let's go to here. In order to celebrate the release of this episode, the Game of Thrones is the most popular series in the history of HBO, is my understanding. In order to celebrate the release, the first episode was last night of the last season of Game of Thrones. In order to celebrate the release of this episode, HBO Asia has reached out to Adidas and SBTG to design GOT Game of Thrones theme-based sneakers. SBTG is owned by Mark I, aka Mr. Sabotage, and his wife. They have designed footwear for many celebrities. What Vechain has to do with this? In order to prevent counterfeiting, these sneakers will contain NFC chips embedded in the shoes. The chips will not need any power source and will contain behind-the-scenes videos of the show, which will make them quite rare. This is a great opportunity for Vechain to prove itself. I don't see how this partnership can go wrong. And due to this partnership, it is more likely that Vechain will see mass adoption sooner than other blockchain platforms. I could imagine Vechain partnering with huge suppliers like Amazon, Alibaba, supermarkets. However, this is just my opinion. Big time, folks, big time. Next, from Crypto Utility Guy at Utility Guy 7 sent me this, which is also big time. Can tokenization open a new world of asset management and investment? From our good friends at Forbes, who have been very anti-XRP. Let's go to the last paragraph of this article. The new face. I've been telling you this for over 8 months now, folks. The investment world sits on the precipice of a change once again. No longer is this ecosystem just about the big corporations, Wall Street types who are putting their money into traditional stocks and assets. We are in a digital and inclusive world. Cryptocurrencies open the eyes of many millennials as to how smartphone investing is both comfortable and rewarding. While the cryptocurrency bubble may have burst at the end of 2017, it has kick-started a new way of doing things. People now want to be offered chances to invest in the future with the ease and availability that technology allows. Thus, blockchain tokenization, metal-pegged stablecoins, cryptocurrencies, and the blockchain as the driver are allowing this new wave to create a new face of asset investment. The world's about to change, folks. And this from Billionaire Mindset. Do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family to do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. Thank you for listening.